Hey everyone, so today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm doing a makeup tutorial on this look that I just created. Sun protection is so important to me, but something that I think aesthetically is like really beautiful is sunburn. Obviously not like sun poisoning, but I really love the way like a sunburnt nose looks and sunburnt cheeks. I like myself with a bit of sunburn as well. And because I am so strict with my sun protection, I know I'm never going to have a natural sunburn again, hopefully at least, and I wanted to be able to recreate that look for summer without obviously damaging my skin. I am actually now a Glossier rep, which is really exciting because I'm sure you guys like Glossier just as much as I do. If you shop through my link, you can kind of see some of my favorite Glossier products. I have a video up there kind of explaining the different products that I love and why I love them. When the Glossier Cloud Paints came out, I was really excited, and I have been playing around with them since they came out, and I think they really work well for a second skin blush effect. I think blush can often look very powdery on the face, and I love blush personally. They're almost like a watercolor blush. They kind of sink into the different products you have on your face. They're blendable, but they're also ultra pigmented. I wanted to do a really like sunburnt look with these because I think products really work well for the summer months coming up. It's coming off as like a soft sunburnt look in camera, but in real life I look like I have like a full-on sunburn, but in like that pretty way. It's not, again, like a sun poisoned look or like a really fried look to the face, just like that light sunburnt look. So if you guys kind of know what I'm talking about and you like that look as well, hopefully the tutorial is helpful. So let's jump right in. So the first step is always skin prep for me, no matter what look I'm doing. So I'm gonna start off with a little bit of a rosewater toner. This one's from Fresh. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of Super Bounce from Glossier. And really the goal of the skin prep is making sure that the skin is ready to receive makeup. Of course, prime your skin in whatever way you think is best for you. If your pores really bother you, you can use a pore filling primer. I like to kind of make priming my face for makeup almost like another step in my skincare routine. This leaves a slightly tacky finish, but it feels very moisturizing, so I feel like my makeup really sticks well to it. Now that our skin is prepped, we're gonna go in with some base. I wanted to go in with a foundation that is a little bit too dark for me, to kind of mimic that suntanned look. So this is the MAKEUPFOREVER Face and Body Foundation. It's since been discontinued. I heard the water blend is very similar to this. And what I'm gonna do is just take a couple of pumps on the back of my hand. As you can see, this is definitely not my color. If you're going with a foundation that isn't your skin tone, try and go with something a little bit lighter coverage. I find that that really helps. Just the blendability a little bit more. So next we're gonna do a little bit of concealing. We don't want the base to be too flawless, which is why I went in with a light coverage foundation. We just want it to look a little bit fresher. So I'm going in with my Tarte CC Corrector, and I'm using this one because I can use very little product and it's quite dewy, so I think it's gonna go a little bit better with the foundation I'm wearing. But I'm also using it because it is more peachy, and I'm too afraid to use something that's really close to my skin tone right now, just with this color foundation. As you can see, that really brightens up my under eyes without them looking full coverage, so it looks a little bit more natural. I still have a couple of spots on my chin that are peeking through. Feel free to cover those up if you really want to, or don't if you don't want to. Just to show a quick technique, I do want to cover those up to show you what I would do in this situation. When I have a darker foundation on, I'm taking just a little bit of my Kevyn Sensual Skin Enhancer. I have been really loving this. It's ultra full coverage concealer, and this is in SX03. And I'm taking a little bit of that on a really, really fine brush. This is from Makeup Forever. It is the 250 brush. And I'm taking some of the foundation. So now this concealer is a little bit closer to the color that the foundation is, so it won't look as stark and like bring attention to these spots. And I've been just pinpointing any little spots and then just dabbing in the concealer. I would be happy to do a whole video on like how I apply my normal everyday base products if you'd like to see that. Next, I'm going to take just the tiniest bit of powder under the eyes, and I have been loving the Wet n Wild Photo Focus pressed powder. Mine is in warm light. I actually ruined my pan by putting a beauty blender in it, and then it got hard on the top, so I have to scrape a bunch of product off. But what I've been doing instead is taking my finger, and you can do it with this product because it is so finely milled, tapping off the excess on the back of my hand and then lightly dabbing under the eyes. That way you're not putting too much product under the eyes. And I find that sometimes when I do use a brush, I can see where the brush has kind of swept. Because I use a very dewy concealer typically, I find that a brush is way more likely to do that. But I've been finding that I just really like the way this looks when I just apply it with my fingers. So now for the fun part, I am going to be using the Glossier Cloud Paints. And typically where we burn is on the bridge of our nose, which I love that look when the bridge of our nose gets a little bit rosy and burnt on the cheeks, and then up on the forehead. So I have the Cloud Paints in 3 colors. I have the Beam, Puff, and Dusk. At the end, I'm going to go in with like the tiniest bit of Beam, but mostly we're going to be using these two and we're going to be mixing them. The Cloud Paints are extremely pigmented. They do blend really easily, but when you first use them, there's kind of like a learning curve. Don't go in with way too much product at once. It does blend out super easily though, and you'll see that when I am applying it to my cheeks. It almost has the consistency of the foundation I just put on, so that really helps with the blendability. Now I'm going to take about that much, and this is going to be enough for like my entire face. And if I need a little bit more, if the Beauty Blender absorbs any of it, we can add more, but really that would be way too much for 2 cheeks. But I am going to be using it almost as a sort of bronzer. Then I'm taking a little bit of Puff as well, and I'm going to be blending these two together. They're customizable just like actual paint, so I want it to be just the tiniest bit more pink because I tend to get very pink when I suntan, and everyone turns a different color when they suntan. So really try and think back to the last time you've been burnt and go with that color. I'm gonna start actually at the top of my forehead and then work my way down. So this is typically where the sun would hit the face. Again, definitely work on building on the product rather than going in all at once. I'm going in on the cheeks. Typically sunburn starts right around here and it goes up almost on the cheekbones, and this is typically where I get sunburnt, then up on the bridge of the nose. So I'm starting right at the apple of my cheek almost, but a little bit higher because it's makeup, I can kind of manipulate where I'd want to be sunburnt. So I want it as high as possible to kind of mimic a higher cheekbone. You can definitely tone down this look to look a little bit more wearable. Then I'm going in with just a little bit of Dusk right under here to kind of shape the cheekbone a little bit. I love the way that looks on the cheekbones, almost as like a contour. Now I'm going in on the bridge of the nose, which is my favorite part for some reason. I just love the way that kind of frames the nose. Again, start really slowly because you can always build up. I also love going in the crease of the eye just to give it a little bit of definition. You don't have to be precise with this whatsoever. I'm going to go in with just a tiny bit of Beam now, just on the apples of the cheeks to kind of make it just a little bit more vibrant. Notice how I'm not smiling. I'm keeping my face rested so I can control where the product is when I'm, you know, I just have a resting face. Whereas if I smiled, it would kind of droop back down. And I want to keep everything really lifted. So this is pretty much the completed look. I'm going to put on just a tiny bit of highlighter because why not? I think this look actually looks great without it, but I'm going to use a little bit of my Marc Jacobs Dew Drops. And this is like a really, really beautiful color. And I'm just going to use seriously the tiniest amount on the cheekbones and on the bridge of my nose. And I don't want this to be the star of the show, so I'm really just gonna blend that out. Just use a little bit. I really also love the look of like a sunburnt lip, so I'm going to go in with the Glossier cherrybalm.com, and I'm using just the tiniest amount, seriously, like that much, and I'm just going to dab it on. I don't want it to be detectable. You could totally go in with a bit of eyeliner, some mascara, but I'm just going to curl my eyelashes. I actually sometimes prefer the way my eyelashes look without mascara. I know most people don't understand what I'm talking about, but I think just for really soft looks, sometimes these looks look better without any mascara or eye makeup. And I'm just gonna set my brows a little bit. This is the Glossier Boy Brow. This is the clear. I think this look pairs really well with a boyish eyebrow. So I'm gonna kind of brush my hair closer together in the middle, and then everything else can be smoothed back a bit.
Tous les garçons et les filles de mon âge savent très bien ce qu'aimer veut dire.